afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Strike, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to a 1 vs 1 on Crossing in the Woods. Between in the south, we got Jove fighting here for the Soviet Union. For the 7th Mechanized Corps base in the north, we got Captain Price fighting for Germany, Deutschland, and the Kampfgruppe Hartmann. We've got here Spearhead, Elite Troops, and Jägerarmor versus Third Industry, Mechanized Support, and got Motor Coordination Tactics here with the Bullets for Infantry, Panzergrenadier versus Infantry, and Maxims for Jove. Who's then going for the Special Rifle Command start? Might be Penal Troops, might be Snipers, might be a Scout Cut. Price is also starting out with a Sniper himself, though, after getting out there. That does mean he will have less capping power here than Jove, and overall mean that Jove won't be hurt so much for going for the Special Rifle Command start. And of course, the magical question is again, Penal Troops, Sniper, or Scout Car. Grenadiers following up there for Price. Constantly moving eastwards here. We got the Sniper out there for Price. Deutschland. In the west, Engineers slowly moving ahead. There be no Scout Car. Penal Troops. Penal Troops here for Jove. The Stravniki with the SVT-40 semi-automatic rifle, which was basically a downgraded AVT-36 fully automatic rifle, which had the slight technical issue that it was basically too powerful and broke itself through the recoil, so they basically just made it into a semi-automatic rifle, and there you go. SVT-40. Fun fact there. Pioneers moving towards the fuel point controls right there. So we can see that Jove is trying to gain dominance over the fuel here, heading for both one, hoping to basically cut off his opponent from either one. And the Sniper side again makes this a bit easier for Jove to pull off. You got a Scout Car following up after the Stravniki there for Jove. Sniper then might help a bit against the contra there. Grenadiers finally arriving here for Price and Fatherland. And my apologies. Got coming about there. There's the Pioneers. Sniper sneaking about as well. Here in the west, we got the fuel point secured here by the Engineers. So while he is getting a fuel advantage there over Price, he's also pretty much securing himself, ensuring in that sense he also gets a tech advantage, because again it's going to be harder there for Price to sort of keep up with Jove in that department. And there you go, Scout Cut quickly being filled up there with Penal Troops. SVT-40s in hand, Pioneers versus Conscripts. Bit of snutter fire there, and he's rushing straight up the centre here. Could aggressively go for the cutoff point there. Straight for the jugular, if you will. And in fact, he does. In fact, he could even further threaten the cutoff point here for any units, including the Sniper there. It's a very nice aggressive move there by Joe. In fact, he's going straight behind here. He might even try and hunt down the Sniper. Price realizes what's going on, begins pulling the Sniper in the opposite direction here to avoid such a fate. Grenadiers bring up with the Pantherfire trying to get it. We got more Grenadiers here for Price, and there you go. Pantherfire's off here. Penal Troops can easily pop out though, supporting here, which in fact will benefit them. Oh, there we go. Snipes one of the Penal Troops out the Scout Car. Shit, they got Sergei. Well, no one liked him anyways. He was accountant. But there you go, 2 men down. Grenadiers retreating, more Grenadiers moving up. Other Grenadiers got moving up here as well. Interesting enough, Joe is refusing to abandon the Scout Car there with his Penal Troops. There you go, finally pops out. Another Sniper lost there to the Penal Troops. Grenadiers moving up. Well, probably trying to go for the Panther first here, and fudged it out there thanks to a quick shot there from 5th Cavalry taking out poor Ludwig. Sniper continuing up. Penal Troops keep up the pressure there as Grenadiers snap close. They might still be able to gain some more kills here unless the Sniper can get close enough. And there we go. Retreats before taking the Sniper hit there. Very sharp. We got Mine as well, or at least attempted Mine, but cancelled it as Price's men move forwards for the Fatherland. The Kampfgruppe Hartmann is having none of that. Constantly reinforcing. Snipers moving out there. Six kills, half each victims run. Take up there for Price. Bunker up as well. Back in Joe's base, we got more conscripts on the way there. Not saying more Penal Troops, but more conscripts. And a bit of moon here towards the west from Price as well. Pioneers with minesweepers, just in case, Joe has laid down more mines. I mean, once there's one mine, you can pretty much count there's going to be more mines, in particular from players like the Soviets. They do love their mines. And also here, in this case, basically preventing Price from rushing his base with anything or pursuing units into his base and wiping them there. So that's a nice little mine spot there, being secured by Jove. We got, by the way, here, got mechanized support here for Jove, opening up for Guardsmen, marked vehicle, precision bombing strikes, and the ISU. There's also ambush, but most people really don't use ambush. Pioneers on the way there. Others moving ahead. Grenadiers watching the center. We got bigger push in the east. Grenadiers with sniper in tow. No light machine guns though here for Price. Going straight for the fuel point here, even with Russian infantry hot in pursuit of the harassers, the interlopers. There you go. Constantly have Grenadiers plus the sniper. There you go. Vasily stumbles over dead. Life has left him. Penal was there again, getting ready for another flank again. Note he tries to get behind here and sort of, perhaps even cut off the retreat point a bit, or retreat path a bit there. So that works out nicely. There you go. We got a third sniper as well now by the way for Jove. Another, so that's basically 2 snipers on the field. 1 on each side. One trying to get the other. And of course that makes things a lot more dangerous for Price, because all it takes from him is 1 mistake and the search now will get his sniper. If it's the other way around, the search sniper can generally always retreat. So it's a bit risky there for Price. A bit risky to put it mildly. Plus factor in that with the smaller squads, so the search sniper can overall have a big impact versus Price compared to vice versa. There's definitely a lot of sort of danger down the road here, so very hazardous route here for Price, but he's actually managed to gain both fuel points. That will give him a bit of advantage here. He could further consider laying down S-mount to cover the point there. Like to make a nice company up. Bunker, by the way, has yet to be upgraded. Oh, there you go. Just as I mention it, he gets upgraded. Funny that. Like to make a nice company here for Price. 2-2, Panzergrenadier. 251 maybe. And there's certainly a few options. The meanwhile, sandbags going up in the centre here to help defend that one from the fascist invader. Got having the victory point here as well. Nothing further here from Jove though. He could soon go for some guardsmen. In fact, might be aiming for guardsmen and some DP light machine guns. And Price is taking onwards. Good lord, he's feeling pretty confident here to go. Nope, cancels it. Perhaps his overconfidence there was perhaps tempered a bit there by the realization he might still be hit by quick T-70 something, but otherwise I mean he could go for it. It's just really risky. Penal troops then moving westwards, guardsmen now, and we not got the DPs there, the Dekhterev light machine guns. Not that effective in many ways, but apparently really, really robust. Could take a lot of punishment and they'd still keep firing. There we go, DP light machine guns on the way. Begins a bit of trouble there. Strafniki moving about. And there go engineers pushed back. Got constantly up behind here, in this case actually being pushed back here. You got Panzergrenadier now for Price. Might be just for some assault infantry, could also be there just sort of get up some panzer tracks in case Jove does go for some light vehicles pretty fast, in which case he won't be completely caught down with his Lederhosen. We are seeing that Jove is now returning the favour, going for both fuel points that way, swinging the fuel momentum, possibly in back towards him, but at least preventing Price from building up a huge fuel momentum that way and allowing him to rush ahead. So good play there by Jove, good counter move there. A lot of players tend to forget the fuel points lately, which is sort of funny, allowing one opponent player, for example, just get a huge fuel advantage. In particular on maps with slightly dominant centres, there can be such a huge centre focus, they just completely forget about the fuel points and then get surprised when they get rolled over by tanks. And fuel point there secured. More guardsmen here out Fort Jove. That is 2 squads of guardsmen, 1 penal trooper, and 2 conscript squads there for Jove. Quite a bit of influence there for the 7th Mechanized Corps. The Mechanized Corps being the close sort of, to say full Panzer division from the Germans, or any sort of, larger, combined arms formation on the divisional size. Yes, it is called a corps, but that was mostly due to the losses in doing Operation Barbarossa and some creative accounting, if you will. So in most cases, a corps, for example, was to be counted like a, Western Division, for example. So a little fun fact there. The Grenadiers under fire from the Guardsmen, DP light machine guns, PTOS, and of course most of the guns firing at the Grenadiers here. Here we got Panzergrenadier versus the Strafniki assault rifles versus the 40s. Nice flank here, we got a bomb grenade off. Moves away from them, allowing the Germans to have a few more free shots. Closing in with the Panzergrenadiers up close, and there you go. But Guardsmen to the rescue. Quickly cutting 2 Panzergrenadiers down there. That's going to force Price to have to pull back rapidly. Meanwhile, Sniper is fighting here against each other in the center. Grenadiers as well. Quick rifle grenade off, and bit of damage there. Panzers really need to retreat there. Come on, Price, Rückzug. Take up there, done for Price. He could soon go for the Supremo Corps and rush out some kind of armor. Grenadiers versus Conscripts. Conscript losing out. He could almost get wiped. Almost, and there you go. Wiped, in fact. Good move there for Price. In these Grenadiers standing back, not really achieving much. And then the West Pioneers going for the fuel point again. No immediate response there from Jove. And Supremo Corps going up here for the Kampfgruppe Hartmann.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Better base here, tank by tank coming up for Jove. So this is actually a bit of a delayed tier 2 for him, as Price is already hitting tier 3. In part due to the fuel control there. Nicely executed there by Price. He's actually able to rush ahead with armor. Strong play there by Price. Strong play. And in fact, he'll be able to get something that can deal with the T-70 much more safely and even go for even an infantry in most cases. Like he would rush out an Austrian now. Possibly even a Panzer IV by the time Jove then has out a T-70. Meaning, if Joe goes for the T-70, he's not going to have quite the advantage he might have hoped for. He might have bed off here for the S-76 to prepare for whatever comes next. But no, he does go for the T-70 light tank here. Perhaps not quite aware of how strong fuel elite their Price has, or he just doesn't care. Which is also an option, just don't care. But that could backfire on him. I mean, already now Price would go for the Austrian, which can lock down the T-70 plus the other infantry. Stug is also here an option, but clearly Price isn't too worried about that. And of course, finally you have the Panzer IV here, which would both deal with the infantry nicely and the armor nicely. And overall, just down the road, secure Price in a big advantage here. Sniper 16 kills for Das Vaterland. Engineer standing back, and there we go. We got the T-70 light tank out here for Jove. Rolling ahead there on its tiny threads. And Price is waiting here for the Panzer IV, but he might feel himself compelled to go for the Panzerschrecks until then. Or part of me thinks he'd hold much better off if you just sort of delay things a bit then, just, you know, use the missions and something else. Mines, light machine guns can do him a lot of good here with an increasing large amount of heavily equipped Russian troops. We'll of course have to see what it ends up with. Panzer IV though almost done. Grenadiers keeping them at bay there with a threat of Panzerfausts. Overall though, Jove is really gaining back a lot of map here, and he's also flagging up behind Price here, taking advantage of Price heavy emphasis here on the eastern side of the map to push up centre west. Almost got the Pioneers Grenadiers there. And there we go. Panzer IV out here for Price and the Kampfgruppe. Panzers there taking minor losses. Heavy losses. Almost wiped, in fact. And there we go. Wiped. That's a huge loss there for Price. 340 manpower, which ultimately not done much. And his Panzer IV is doing nothing. What is Price thinking with that? It's quite unfortunate there. I mean, that T-70 by wiping a Panzer Grenadier squad has more or less already earned itself in. Troops are healing, reinforcing Panzer IV on the hunt. Back at base, nothing further happening there for Price. Troops healing, reinforcing. He might want to use some of his Pioneers again to lay down minefields. That way slowing down any infantry there from Joe, but also maybe catching up some armour. Joe here, of course, might be compelled to go for the H-16 then to help deal with the Panzer IV, because the T-70 on its own, even in pairs, will struggle with that one quite a bit. Guards were standing about there. Back here, all quiet in Price's base. Very quiet, in fact. Perhaps too quiet. No, not really. But both players here sort of like, there we go. Jove is going for the H-6M. Almost got the eastern victory point there. Centre victory point be secured, and he's pushing up the west again. The Kampfgruppe Hartmann advances once more to reclaim the river crossing. Which, by the way, the Russians would occasionally cross using, how shall I say, creative solutions. There was one case, I think, during 1942, where the Germans were sort of constantly crossing under bombardment. They basically blew any attempt at building a bridge over it quickly down. In the end, the Russians basically began pushing tanks into it and then tethering them together with small pieces of board to then cross it that way, much to the surprise of the Germans, which do indicate, of course, the Russians were damn creative at times when it came to solving problems. Grenadiers closing right with the T-70 Panther 4 moving in. Grenadiers following Panther Grenadier. Now he's going for the Panther on them. Getting more into attack that way. Panzer 4 could have pursued here, but he's clearly worried about mines or something else they're covering it. Either way, S6 moving up here. Neat sniper versus penal troops. Need to be very careful with that. Very careful. And there goes S6 goes in for the hunt down the Panzer 4. Perhaps a bit too eagerly though. Bit too eagerly.
We are losing territory.
There we go. Almost got the S26. But the infantry almost got the Panzer 4 as well. Sniper almost wiped there by the penal troops. Good work by them. Almost fetched into free, in fact.
Guards, troops ready for
And there you go. More guardsmen out here for Jove. Guardsmen versus Grenadiers. Seems enough there's been, well, one light machine gun upgrade, but that's about it so far. Veterans run there for the Panzer 4. Panzers moving up. We got Sniper, T-70 there firing right at the Panzer Grenadier. Rockets flying all over the place, but not really impacting with anything besides the foul socialist earth. And we got a Sturmgeschütz on the way there for Price. Stug 3G, early model. S6 being fixed up. T-70 moving ahead. Halfway to S3 and Pioneers down to 5 from the T-70s, both Garfin and the Sniper. Overall, a pretty vicious combination. Panther White goes in there, perhaps looking for some easy hits and kills. There you go, good hit there. One more hit, he might be able to get the T-70. He actually should be able to. Can he? Slightly wonky pathing there, kills the T-70. Small win there for Price. In East, Grenadiers pushing forwards with light machine gun in hand. In fact, he's got a lot more light machine guns now on his men. Increasing the amount of firepower he can bring to bear versus Jove there quite a bit. Stug almost done there. There we go. Stug 3G. As for Jove, he got no further sign of tech up there from him. Will he go for another S-26 here? But what will he do? I mean, of course, might also aim for the ISU 152, but with only one S-26. That's going to be pretty tricky. S-6 bombarding, and in fact the S-6, it turns out, had quite a few types of ammunition available to it, which included, amongst other things, fragmentation rounds, incendiary rounds, smoke rounds, and shrapnel rounds. For those who don't know what that means, basically the S-6 could function like a huge shotgun. Yup, huge shotgun. Thankfully, Relic never added any of those types of ammunition to it. It even had heat rounds and APCR, giving again actually a surprisingly wide variety of shots he could fire at the enemy. Stug there took quite a bit of damage there, spotted up, but the Sniper 6 took advantage of that bit of view there and quickly did a bit of damage, hitting S-2, and we can see that Joe's following up with another S-6. Grenadiers set against advancing Guardsmen. Sniper there firing off a shot, 22 kills, S-2. Panther 4 on its own in the western side of the map here, might want to get some infantry to support it. More Panzer Grenadiers could be an option there for Price. A Doctrine could also be an option. Maybe go for Stormtroopers. There you go. Buttoning up and firing over the H-6 against the Panther 4. Are the H-6 almost done? And Grenadiers quickly blocking the way there. S-3 for the fast land. Stug almost good to go. Pinback machine gun added. And Guardsman flanking up here. Overall, Joe maintaining good momentum versus Price. Just attacking. Pressuring, and there you go, bombardment fire versus the Grenadiers decide they need to retreat before the entire thing collapses. Holy moly, that was lucky there. Just a sliver of health there. The Grenadiers themselves holding up the building before they run out. And in these, Grenadiers moving forward with punch strike support. Stug there, trying to line up a shot but taking damage. They can't get close. Snipers also basically spotting away. Then we got a second S-6 as well here. Stug trying to shoot the snipers here. He's pretty confident there by Price. No sign of more armor there. Certainly no sign of taking either. I mean, he could go for another Stug here, which might in fact be the optimal option versus all those S-6s. Bit of fire there from the Sturmgeschütz, and there goes S-6, shoots and misses gloriously. Another shot there. Stu rolls forward, filled with vengeance, and there we go. Gets the H-76. And Guinea's taking damage from Grenadiers, and there goes Snapperfire on the Grenadiers as well, getting some kills some, and for some reason talking about a bare-ass Ferdinand. In fact, that's something I've been hearing recently a lot. Basically, whenever they knock up the H-76, and for some reason reports it as a Ferdinand, meaning someone's really drinking a lot of schnapps there. Jürgen, I think it's time to stop this Schnaps 9. I want more schnapps. It makes me the best gunner in the world. No, it doesn't, Jürgen. Stop it.
Ready for orders. The sector is at risk.
Some very, very razor's edge sniper play there. Guardsman advancing here, trying to perhaps flush them up, and then runs into the Panzer IV. In which case, the only thing that might be flushed out there is the internal organs as they get impacted with the high close around. But it's time here for the mid game now in terms of damage. Jove's ahead, Price ahead, those got the kill advantage there over Jove. And in terms of army value, they're actually really close to each other. Price does have a slight lead. He does have more armor overall there than Jove. Resource float wise, Price though is also floating. That needs to be careful with then in terms of points held though. He's overall been more in control. We do have sort of some points that with Jove sort of been more, raw. And slightly here, it's, close to each other at the moment. For Jove, of course, the question is, does he go for more vehicles here, or does he actually try to aim for the ESU 152? I mean, the problem is, though, still, Price has got a larger armor advantage here, and 186 is going to struggle. In fact, he's only got Guardsmen here to sort of help against it. So, I mean, he's really going to play for the ISU. He needs to sort of backtake for the support weapon company, begin bringing out field guns. Otherwise, he needs more H-16s. Another option then might also be then get some fuel cash up to sort of further support himself with the fuel that way, allowing for an easier push towards the ISU. Otherwise, more pressure around his opponent's fuel pond there would, I think, be a very good choice there for Joe as well. Further deny Price fuel, and again, give Joe a bit more of a fuel shove against his opponent. Otherwise, more attempted flanking now. I mean, he's getting a bit too caught up in just the center, and that could give Price some advantages. But then again, if Price also gets caught up there, I mean, it could go either way, really. As for Price, he definitely, I think, wants to try and flank more. I mean, the West, I think, is largely open there. A few good flanks, for example, with the Panzer IV sneaking up here, could get behind the enemy assault guns and who knows what else, and basically wreck it. Stu can then sort of attack from the front, just keeping the opponent occupied and, such. More Panzer Grenadier. In fact, he's flooding a lot of fuel. That would be a good choice. Maybe some fuel caches at the very least, even that's not quite part of the plan. And I think another Panzer IV, maybe another Stu would also give him a lot more pushing power, and that way could devastate Jove and push him off the field. Also, doctoral choice here for Price would be good. I mean, elite troops is always good. Spearhead could work, and so could Jägerarme, though perhaps not as much. I don't know. Probably Spearhead or elite troops here, I think, would be good choices for Price. But again, spend some of that superfluous manpower there at the moment and sort of do something with it. Beyond that, not much else to say, so let's return to the fight and see what happens here. Moving up. Shoots, doesn't quite land a hit. Machine gun that's flying away there. Slight hit. Got a kill there with the machine gun, and there goes 6 Johnson. Stu falls back, Panzer IV covering up. His sniper rolls back as well. And these we got a slight flank there with a single Grenadier squad. But lacking any sort of greater force, the impact from that flank there's going to, I think, be limited there for Price. And there's still no sign of a doctrine there. I mean, if at least they say the Panzer IV sort of working with the Grenadiers there, that could have a lot more impact there against Joe, and particularly blitzed up here, getting behind the H-6 before too late. Instead, he's moving up here for the front. Ravgate catches the stormtroopers there. I think he gets the advance. Grenadiers need to be careful. They've actually 3 H-6 guarded engaging with the Panzer IV, which gains virtually 2 shots and up. Shot fired. And a penetrating hit there from the S-6M assault gun. And there you go, he does backtech, he does prepare for field guns, which could indicate there might be an ISU plan there for Jove. Panzer IV with the sniper support basically covering the center, stooping repaired, in fact is fixed up now. Guards advancing, but they are suffering staggering casualties there against the nicely upgraded Panzer IV there. feeling reinforcement. We got slight movement up the west. And in the east, we got constant moving up there as well. So both sort of trying to now slightly outmaneuver the other side. But I do think nothing decisive rather than Price is really flooding a lot of manpower there again. Panzer Grenadier, fuel caches. Those two I think would be a really good choice. If instead he goes for more Grenadiers, when I think more assault troops would be, you know, more better suited for him. Panzer there getting shot at by the snipers and the guardsmen, not really making much progress.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Panzer's almost fixed up.
The new Grenadier squad is ready.
Field gun almost done.
Ready for combat.
And there he goes, Sis-3. Field gun out there for Jove. In these countries being hunted down by Grenadier snipers. Stu covering the centre, Panzer moving westwards there. They're going to fire from the H-26. Penetrating shot through the side armour. Second shot gets another excellent hit there as well. Panzer will quickly fall back. Third shot though misses. Stuke moves ahead, might try and get it there with a target weak point. But again, Mid-2-3 also makes it pretty nimble, I believe. And there you go, Field gun arriving as well. Stuke rolls back here. Faced with a lot of enemy resistance. The Stuke is in fact almost knocked out here. Price continues to float a lot of resources. I don't know, there's just no plan there from Price. Is he trying to figure out a plan or does he just not care? Alright, we got tech up here for Price. In which case, again, he might want to build up some fuel caches to make it, you know, work a bit better, since otherwise... Oh, no! Got the Stuke there. It actually didn't do that much in the end there for poor Price. Panzer in trouble as well. We got bombardment against the Stuke. We cruise it. Almost gets knocked out there. Panzer IV almost knocked as well. Half H-23. This is looking pretty grim there for Price. Pretty grim for the fatherland. There we go. Stuke knocked out in the end.
Our panzer forces have been reduced by
No more chances to serve the fatherland.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
In the west, though, hitting the fuel point there, plus the victory point there. Good work by Price, taking advantage of Jove's centre focus there to grab territory elsewhere. Still, he's flooding a lot of manpower, and again, fuel caches, I think, would help offset. Again, allowed to make a tier 4 work a bit better for him. Guardsmen constantly go out there. Panzer flying against the Strafniki there. 30 kills here, 21 kills. Points being grabbed.
Our foes have 300 points remaining. Increase your efforts.
You want the sniper?
Quick push here. And Grenadiers in a bit of trouble. But we got more Grenadiers arriving, both equipped like machine guns. They can lay down a murderous volley of fire there against Rush. We got Rifle going off the gun, being pushed out into the open. But quickly back in, but not before Petrov stumbles over. Unable to keep moving, not even with the aid of large amounts of vodka. Which is basically all the medics there do. They just handle them bottles of vodka. Back here, Panzer IV almost good to go. Need to get up with the heavy Panzer if he's really aiming for it. The faster the better there for Price, and he still needs to choose a doctrine. I mean, right now he could even go for Spearhead, calling a target here versus Jove. And probably have enough resources soon afterwards to go calling a mortar half-track. Jove, on the other hand, is slowly inching closer here to the ISU 152 heavy assault gun, the Schwero boy, the Beast Killer. And there you go, heavy Panzer Corps finally got for Price. He could go for the Panther, Sturm Panzer. Obviously, also the Panzerwerfer. I'm not sure if that would be the best choice here. Panzer forming down the eastern side here. Then there's a bit of trouble. We got snipers moving up. Maybe Panzer Corps almost done there for Price. And there we go. He goes for the Panzerwerfer. He goes for it. Not a Sturm Panzer, which will usually be able to deal with the infantry, but the Panzerwerfer. Slow moving east here. Shattering the cover of the Grenadiers. Nice shooting there, Heinz. Panzerwerfer almost done there for the Kampfgruppe Hartmann and Price. We got the Sister field gun moving up. He's going for the Sturmpanzer next. He's just really sort of lumping hard down there on the infantry. And possibly the field guns as well. There you go. Panzerwerfer out. Setting ahead there. Sort of what you yourself call a self-propelled Nebelwerfer in a sense. They're only firing some of the smaller rockets. There's all sort of variants of the Nebelwerfer. Some firing some pretty damn big rockets, including 32 centimeter rockets there. They obviously couldn't quite fire as many.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
But Sturmpanzer halfway ready here. Panzerwerfer yet to unleash its payload against the enemy.
The enemy is taking our
Panzerwerfer engaging
territory.
here, Grenadiers, Pioneers. He neatly sniped Sergei with the high explosive round. Panzerwerfer here versus Guardsman, supported by a sniper here. We got Veteran Fleet, 29 kills. Jove getting really close to the ISU. Sturmpanzer almost done here. Called the Brummbär, but the problem is that was something the Allied called it. The Germans never called it the Brummbär. They called it the Stupa, which means, you know, Sturmpanzer, a bit like, you know, they didn't call the Stug, you know, Jürgen or something. They called it the Stug. Their full name is Sturmgeschütz, and Stug, similarly, Sturmpanzer, Stupa. Little fun fact there. Trying to get into the Panzercheck, but he gets it, the sneaky bastard. Overall, those Panzercheck Panzergrenadiers, I think I've ended up being a bit of a waste here for Price. You should have just kept them regular as they were. Maybe got more. Never mind, looks like that additional Grenadier squad ended up being a bit of a waste as well for Price. But Sturmpanzer moving ahead, hitting it from the edge of the 6, gets a half decent hit there. Panzerwerfer completely whiffed his barrels, by the way, not even a sliver of damage down there to the enemy. Talk about a disappointment there. Jove, though, here really close now to the ISU. 152, we're talking seconds here before he can crawl in. The heavy assault gun there. There's also, by the way, existed the ISU 122, which is sort of more like a heavy tank destroyer. Had the same gun as the IS-2, just sort of more configured for wrecking tanks compared to the ISU, though it could also function as an assault gun. But there you go, ISU out here for Jove. Got the pin-up heavy machine gun on the way there. Grenadiers being slaughtered here. And we got Jaeger armor for Price. Jaeger armor. Not sure why. I guess he could go for some spotting scopes here and there. That could help him. But I think right now I should either aim for the Panther or some Stugs. Maybe another Panther 4, really. Also, aim better with a Panzerwerfer. There we go, half a guard squad annihilated there by the Sturmpanzer.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Another good hit there from the Sturmpanzer. ISU carrying the centre, which was, by the way, based on the IS-2 chassis. Fun fact. Panzer almost fixed up. ISU moves up here, supporting a guard squad there. Slowly advancing into Price's territory. Price certainly losing ground here in the face of Joe's now heavily supported assault here.
You need something? Awaiting orders. Now we can see those fighters.
Come to their push back. And there we go, shoots, but firing high explosive rounds, it does nothing there. Though technically, the ISU's high explosive rounds could in many cases knock out tanks themselves, blow turrets off and so on there. They're quite powerful, but obviously they wouldn't be very balanced. And if it didn't fail to penetrate the usual spalling then, which would happen afterwards, could usually do a lot of damage as well. Spalling, for those who don't know what it is, basically means bits of the interior armor going off, flying around inside the tank. Quite nasty. Then is almost being wrapped here by the Stravniki. Stravniki being almost wiped out. The ISU fires. Gets a good hit. They almost wiped the Grenadiers. So right now, Price a bit of an awkward position here. His opponent's ISUs make it very difficult to move about. He seems to have gone about the west. And old Joe's actually got a pretty sizable force equipped with a lot of veteran guardsmen. And Price doesn't quite have something that can sort of seriously respond to that. In particular, since his Panzerwerfer is having zero luck hitting anything. And that's really bad. That just means that's wasted resources. Which guys mean, you know, maybe having a Panther now to support the Sturmpanzer. Sturmpanzer taking hits, flares up as well, covering up the advance here. Very good work there by Jove. Panzerwerfer fires again. Does some damage this time around, but doesn't make much of an impression there upon Jove. Again, that Panzerwerfer just ends up not really being of much use there. Artillery failing to penetrate the Sturmpanzer. On the other hand, almost takes out the Panzerwerfer there in one hit. Bad news there for Price again. You can soon go for the Panther. You could also go for 2 Stooks. As opposed to you could be completely crazy and go for the Elephant. Gonna do that killed. Bit of movement up the west side here. Grenadiers awaiting guard squad with light machine guns. Quick rough grenade there. Lands decent hit. And Grenadiers need to be careful. There we go. Cover shattered by the ISU's mighty gun. Quick rough grenade here lands nicely. 2 Stravniki killed. Might get some Price here. No, he doesn't quite get close enough. Panther moving downwards. Needs to be careful here. Moving in with serious support. No, oh, and there goes Jump Hunt on the way. Panzerwerfer forgotten here by Price. And there goes splitting enough the H-26. Misses though, misses. And there's the mine. The mine laid down so much earlier. Oh dear. Veteran defeat for the Panzer IV though. Increased rate of fire, increased mobility. Problem is with a damaged engine, that's not going to do much good here. Sturmpanzer almost wipes out the entire guard squad there, seeing them running, but he's very likely to lose his Panzer IV if he's not careful. Hides up behind the wreckage of the house here. Sturmpanzer gets the peel back to kill the Grenadier squad and seize the light machine gun. Sturmpanzer then takes a devastating hit from the ISU. H-16 moving up to engage the Panzer IV from the front here. And he's not going for the Panther, he's not going for Stooks. Looks like he's aiming for the Elephant tank destroyer. Oh dear. Almost got the H-26 there, but the Panther IV's lot trying to get a guard squad in front of it. Using the house there, the ruins to hide behind from the ISU. Guardsmen are being annihilated here by the Panther IV out in the open. And we got a Stuka bomb drop. Oh dear. Direct hit on the field gun and the ISU. Doesn't do so much damage to the ISU. But it does maybe just save the Panzer IV. And they're going up to prepare the Sturmpanzer as well. But there goes ISU turns about it. Shoots. Penetrates. Sturmpanzer has to fall back. Oh dear, he might catch the Panzer IV out in the open. Maybe. Funny, taking damage out in the open. HU-6 being repaired, and he's really going for the Elephant. Despite, you know, if he'd gone for a Panther, he probably by now could have flanked behind the ISU again. That's his danger of playing for really big units. If your opponent just goes for more medium stuff, or just does more damage to you before, it's not going to have much of an impact. In particular, a serious specialist like the Elephant, which in a 1 versus 1 I'd probably describe as being close to useless in many cases. It's such a huge resource expenditure that they can quickly find themselves whiffed out. Funny is almost white. Panzer IV. Oh dear, close being handed down. Sniper spot as well. And he's caught here by the Dushka. And the ISU just guns him down. Oh dear. And there you go, he just go for the elephant heavy tank destroyer. Oh dear. He actually went for it.
The enemy is reduced to 200 points.
You could have almost 3 Stooks for the same price. And they could have done better, I think. Elephant already in trouble with conscripts with the Panther Shrek. Panther flying down here. Fails to hit. That Panther effort just ended up being more or less a complete waste of resources there for Price. Saito charge. Oh, covering up the retreat path. Nice move there by Jove. And he can't do anything with the elephant because there's infantry in the way, because the elephant, despite having a tiny machine gun there, can't really do much against it at all. T-34 on the way there for Jove. It's actually teched up and it's now going for medium armor.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Guardsman got better than defeat, 10 kills. 3 kills there. Guardsman taking some losses. Jump Hunter moving up. 12 kills. And we got a bombing strike here trying to catch some units. Ah, he barely moves just in time, I think. Damn close there. Victory point seeing down against Price here as well. Joe's got plenty of guards. We've still got the penal troops. He's still got conscripts.
Ready for combat.
Overall, the odds are not looking good for the Kampfgruppe Hartmann here. Not looking good. Not one bit. And there you go. Another sniper wipe. Oh dear. Shoots there with the elephant, and the elephant misses on top of everything. The elephant misses. The ISU does not. Gets a hit there. But it's already close to being destroyed here. Panther IV might be forced into battle here. We got the Panther firing again. Close quarters barrage. Wipes the guard squad there. We got the Asian 6 Red 2-3 moving up. Panther IV there taking hits. Elephant too far away to support the ISU hanging back. Panther IV misses. It's complete devastation here.
100 points remaining.
And there you go. Panther IV cooked up and left to burn. Elephant scores a hit. ISU misses this time around. Elephant close to veterans who won't, will it matter? Probably not. And the Asian 6 moves up close. Both miss each other. But the Asian 6 just needs to shoot again, and there you go. Elephant goes down. Elephant goes down. And there you go. GG, game over. Price has lost the fight here. The Kampfgruppe Hartmann is forced to fall back, leaving the Russians free to use the crossing here. The 7th Mechanized Corps has won, using a large amount of guardsmen, and the penal troops are quite nice. The sniper turned out to be quite a good unit as well. But also overall, just, better use of armor and vehicles. Price and tank, I made a few too many mistakes. And again, the elephant just doesn't work in 1 versus 1s. I mean, it was, a nice one, maybe a bit better price that could work. Or the Yak Panther, a bit faster, also a bit better price, perhaps also a bit better as infantry, or I don't know. Hell, even the Yak Panzer IV, I mean, it might work better, but the problem is it's not really that, so it ends up just being a huge waste of resources here. For Price again, had he gone for a Panther soon, he probably could have gone the ISU. The Panther also turned out to be quite a waste of resources there for Price. So again, sooner Panther I think would have done a lot better for him. But just more Panzer IVs and Stooks. I mean, again, I just feel like still like Tier 4 is not really that good of an option there for Wehrmacht at the moment. Also, more Panzer gunners I think were done quite well, and maybe some sooner fuel cans as well. Therefore, Price could also have benefited quite nicely. A lack of mines, I think, did not aid Price either. But overall, well played by Joe there. Good use of mines, good use of attacks, good use of the ISU, H6, and so on there. So overall, hope you enjoyed this match and learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell a friend, share it with everyone. If not, send me some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.